Okay, so back in studio, when I launched the channel 2 years ago, one goal was that when I would have extra hardware, I would give it to charity after I build a computer with my extra part. I did mention it to a couple brands like Be Quiet and Intel, and they were surprised, but my answer was like, what am I gonna do with a fourth or fifth computer, right? Maybe if I have a warehouse, and I can see now that I've been doing that for a while, that having a second computer component just to test as a test bench is great because then you're not always unplugging your gaming computer. But there's a point when you get like, okay, I have four power supply now. Sure, I can maybe give it to friends or family, but there's a point where it's like, okay, this is too much. So I was talking to a friend that worked with a charity, and she was like, "Oh, can I volunteer?" Because she was like, they could use a computer you build to do astronomy and small community. And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. So let's look at the part I have. Let's build a computer, and then we'll test it quick just to check the performance. The motherboard is a Asrock B580M Pro 4. It's a AM4 platform. I will change the Noctua cooler because I don't really like the high pitch noise it's making, and I have a Be Quiet cooler. For storage, we'll use a Micro Center Inline Performance Plus 1 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe SSD. So they should have plenty of space for image file, though I assume they would be using a portable drive. The cooler is the Darkrock Elite by Be Quiet. It can cool up to 280 watt of heat, but it's going to be such an overkill for this platform because I'm using a 5600X, which has a TDP of 65 watt. So I will definitively run it in silent mode in the BIOS, and also there's a button for it on the cooler. I'm gonna use my RTX 3070 Duo by Asus with 8 gig card. So they should have plenty of rendering power if they decide to use advanced visualization software, 3D software, or just game on the computer. Now, Be Quiet also send the Pure Power 13M 1000 watts power supply, which is cybernetic gold. But I'm gonna keep it for the next build because even with my graphic card and CPU, the computer probably not gonna need more than 300 watt. So it would be such an overkill to put it in that build. It's a semi-modular power supply. So it should help for cable management because I just need a cable for setup for running all the fan, well, the two fan hub, and I need one PCIe cable for the GPU. First step was to clean up the old thermal paste and remove the Noctua cooler. After that, I removed the RAM because I was not sure what kind of clearance I would get by the cooler, but you can adjust the fan. Also installed the NVMe directly on the motherboard. The first step was to install the standoff and also the bracket for the cooler. Then I used the 9-dot technique for the thermal paste. I still had some Be Quiet thermal paste they sent with the cooler. Then I placed the cooler and screw the two screws that are like inside before putting the fans. I've been installing this cooler so often that like I can just do it by memory now. I raise a little the front fan to give a little better RAM clearance. I use the switch to put it in quiet mode instead of performance mode when I was using the 265K from Intel that can uh, ask for up to 300 watt of power in PL2 mode. We can also see that it's such an overkill and oversized cooler for like the size of the Micro ATX motherboard, but that's going to do a good job cooling it and Be Quiet. The computer case I'm going to use is the Lightbase 600LX. It's a case you can put vertically or horizontally, and you have plenty of space to put like a 360 millimeter AIO and three fan at the bottom of the case. You have two USB-A one USB-C, the power button, a button to rotate the RGB, and one button for resetting the computer. Because I'm an idiot, I make one of the removable feet, so I remove them for now and I'll just super glue it later. You can see you have plenty of space for cable managing the computer. You can see the motherboard fully installed in the case now. Next, I install this power supply. You can see that like that was before I cable manage both hubs. I installed the GPU next, and we still have plenty of space in that case. The next step was just to see if the computer would boot, and it's the case there. And then I realized I didn't plug any of the fan, but it's because I needed a SATA cable for that. Here we can see that all the fan lighting up, so everything seems to be working fine. You can see that the temperature is 41.5 Celsius in the BIOS, and that the memory is running at XMP speed of 3200. I then ran OCCT CPU burn extreme for 3 minutes, and the highest temperature was like 57 Celsius when the TG max is 95 Celsius, so no problem here for cooling. I also ran Furmark just to see how it was going on the GPU level, and everything was also fine. Then I ran Geekbench 6. I got 2202 for the single core and over 8500 for the multi-core. 140,000 for OpenCL, and over 134,000 for Vulkan. So everything is performing as expected. I feel that like the build turned really well. It kind of helped that I've been building with the light-based 600LX for a while, switching component, and that I have a lot of experience with Be Quiet CPU cooler and AIO. So everything was smooth and easy. So I think they really will enjoy that computer. They can game on it. They can do video rendering. They can edit image and analyze image take by multiple telescope. So I think that will. So I think it will meet the needs of the student there. So the computer is ready, and they just need to tell me when to ship it. As for the future, I think we have a second build that would be realistic to do after CES 2027. I still have here my AM5 motherboard. So the plan was like when the next X3D chip is out, probably like 10800 X3D chip is out, I could just swap it. And then I would have my 265K motherboard and CPU to be available. The other thing is that the rumors that at CES Intel will announce their next generation of desktop CPU, but they're changing the sockets, so that socket anyway would be dead. So it would be a good time, to get a new motherboard, test a new CPU, and then like let the 265K go. As for the GPU, maybe get a Intel Arc B580 or something in the 2 to 300 range, just to be able to have good performance with a higher end CPU. I already have the cooler because I buffer review the new Noctua, which is an overkill. And like I said, I still have like that 1000 watt PSU. So I already have 3 components. So, but of course, I still have one terabyte NVMe I could use for my build, but it's gonna be the same thing. Memory costs and things like that. If I upgrade, maybe it's gonna work. But memory storage is gonna limit how many of those charity build I can do. But at the same time, I like it because it add a layer of what I'm doing. It's super fun to play with new hardware and do computer build. But if you can also help someone there and help a small charity and give computer to people that like wouldn't be able to afford one, well, I think at the same time it's really give a different meaning of what I'm doing. So thanks for watching and see you on the next one.